Christopher Sign. Christopher Sign. I'm Christopher Sign. Have a safe weekend. My family received significant death threats shortly after breaking this story. Credit cards hacked. My children, we have code words. We have secret code words that they know what to do. And that's why I came back to WBMA, ABC 3340 in Birmingham, because when I was enduring the death threats, it was my former Alabama football family and my teammates, my coaches who circled around.
Christopher Sign, Alabama news anchor who broke Clinton Tarmac story, dead at 45. Sign dies. Alabama TV anchor who broke Bill Clinton Tarmac visit with Loretta Lynch. Alabama ABC who broke the Clinton Tarmac story, dead. Loretta Lynch Tarmac story, dead at 45.
Tremendous loss for the ABC 15 family as we learn that Christopher Sign has passed away.
As journalists, you have to ask yourself, why are people not delving into this? Why are we not looking into what exactly happened? This story isn't about right or left, Republican, Democrat. It's about right and wrong in journalism, and that was my focus of this. It's about real journalism, getting to the facts.
Into Hillary Clinton's private email server.
Well, new controversy surrounding the Clintons after former President Bill Clinton visited Loretta Lynch on board a private plane at a Phoenix airport Monday evening. Lynch is overseeing, as you may recall, the FBI investigation into his wife's use of private email server while she was Secretary of State.
Bill Clinton, we have breaking news. The New York Times is reporting that Attorney General Loretta Lynch plans to announce that she will accept whatever recommendation career prosecutors and FBI Director James Comey make about whether to bring charges related to Hillary Clinton's private email server. She's removing herself. The paper says that her decision removes the possibility that a political appointee will overrule investigators in the case. This development comes after a lot of criticism around the Attorney General's meeting with former President Bill Clinton aboard her plane.
While new accusations of favoritism surrounding Hillary Clinton today after her husband, former President Bill Clinton, had a private meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch. The former president visited Lynch on board her private plane at a Phoenix airport Monday evening. Lynch is overseeing the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. Lynch insists, however, that the two did not discuss the probe.
You take President Clinton at his word that the meeting was to be polite, that it was sincere, just to say hello?
Well, when you meet for a half hour and you're talking about your grandchildren and a little bit about golf, I know it sounds like a long meeting. It was a very sad situation to see, Tom, that I can tell you.
It was the Tarmac meeting that rocked 2016, a seemingly secret rendezvous between Bill Clinton and then Attorney General Loretta Lynch. If you thought that story was laid to rest, well, think again.
Well, a brand new book from the journalist who broke this story is revealing explosive new information about the encounter. Here now is author of Secret on the Tarmac, Christopher Sign. Chris, good morning to you.
Oh, it's great to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So from the get-go, this just didn't add up, did it?
Not at all. When I broke this story, we knew that something had occurred here that was a bit unusual. It was a planned meeting. It was not a coincidence. It was planned. It happened. And this details everything that they don't want you to know and everything they think you forgot. But Bill Clinton was on that plane for 20 minutes. And it wasn't just about golf, grandkids, Brexit. There's so much that doesn't add up. And even as time has passed, there's so much, I think, that even Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton have forgotten.
How do you know it was planned and not just a happenstance? Hey, look, our planes are next to each other.
I have a source that walks me through it from point A to point B to point Z. And my source saw it all unfold and says when Bill Clinton arrived at the airport, he waited. He knew Loretta Lynch was taxiing. The plane was moving. He then sat and waited in his car with the motorcade. Her air stairs come down. Most of her staff gets off. He then gets on as the Secret Service and FBI are figuring out, how in the world are we supposed to handle this? What are we going to do?
Why do you think this didn't get more attention then? I mean, you look at the way that Attorney General Bill Barr is being treated now. You look at the way that the Trump administration has been treated. You think that this would be worthy of more attention than it received and also more scrutiny. Why didn't it get that?
You and I are on the same page on this. As journalists, you have to ask yourself, why are people not delving into this? Why are we not looking into what exactly happened? Loretta Lynch, in December of 18, she went before House Judiciary Committee, House Oversight Committee, excuse me, and testified. And in there, she mentioned that Bill Clinton flattered her, talked about Eric Holder, talked about how things were going at Justice, talked about her job performance, not this golf, grandkids, Brexit.
We're going to make our government so important, responsible to the people, not to the special interests. The special interests control your government, folks. The special interests. I mean, you see what happened today where Bill Clinton goes in the other day into an airplane. Just happened to be, just a coincidence, you know. He just happened to be at the airport at this time. Think of it, just happened to be at the airport. You know, when I first heard the story, I said, no, you're kidding, I don't believe it. I thought somebody was joking. But it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a very serious thing. And to have a thing like that happen is so sad. And as you know, Hillary is so guilty. She's so guilty. I mean, you can read them right off here. And how that's not being pursued properly. And I think that he really opened it up. He opened up a Pandora's box, and it shows what's going on, and it shows what's happening with our laws and with our government. But if you think that he just happened to be at the airport, because nobody really, and he may have, and honestly, he may have left and gone someplace, but it seems like, you know, he's talking about golf and grandchildren. I love my grandchildren so much. But if I talk about them for more than about 9 or 10 seconds, you know, what do we... I love my grandchildren. I love that one. I love that one. I love that one. And look at the beautiful... I love these kids. After that, what are you going to say, right? Then you have to talk about golf for the rest of the time. And, you know, I love golf, but after talking for a couple of minutes, it's hard to talk about it much longer than...
Let me go back, if I can, very briefly, to the decision to publicly go out with your results on the email. Was your decision influenced by the Attorney General's Tarmac meeting with the former President Bill Clinton?
Yes, in a ultimately conclusive way. That was the thing that capped it for me, that I had to do something separately to protect the credibility of the investigation, which meant both the FBI and the Justice Department.
Were there other things that contributed to that that you can describe in an open session?
There were other things that contributed to that. One significant item I can't. I know the committee's been briefed on. There's been some public accounts of it, which are nonsense, but I understand the committee's been briefed on the classified facts. Probably the only other consideration that I guess I can talk about in an open setting is that at one point the Attorney General had directed me not to call it an investigation, but instead to call it a matter, which confused me and concerned me. But that was one of the bricks in the load that led me to conclude I have to step away from the department if we're to close this case credibly.
Take me back to June 27th. You and President Clinton were both in Phoenix, Arizona. He saw your plane on the tarmac. He got on board your plane. How did that visit happen? Did somebody say, hey, President Clinton's outside, he wants to come in, or did he just come in?
Well, I can't say what President Clinton saw or thought because I wasn't in communication with him before that, so I don't know what was in his mind.
No, but did an FBI agent say, hey, he's outside, he wants to come in?
All I can tell you is that we were landing and we were moving on with our program, and we were about to leave and about to go into our cars and move on to our evening events, and it was communicated to me that he wanted to say hello, and that was all the information that we gained.
Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway told me that that meeting, President Clinton coming to you, quote, bothered some voters because it, quote, played right into the culture of corruption, the notion that there's, quote, different set of rules for elites like the Clintons. Looking back, do you wish that when he came over, you said, we really shouldn't talk? It would be really inappropriate, and hello and goodbye?
So, as I've said at the time, I think like days after that meeting, I regretted not seeing that issue and not seeing around that corner. You know, I regretted viewing it as just, again, as the number of people who come by and say hello.
It didn't cross your mind when you were sitting there like, oh, somebody's going to make a big deal out of this.
And our conversation went on a lot longer, certainly, than I had anticipated, because it was just going to be hello, how are you, and everyone was going to go on about their evening, as far as we were concerned.
He's a talker.
He is a talker,
yeah.
yes, he is a talker. I really do believe, Jake, that you know, things happen, and as I said, I wish I had seen around that corner and not had that discussion with the former president, as innocuous as it was, because it did give people concern. It did make people wonder, is it going to affect the investigation that's going on. And that's not something that was an unreasonable question for anyone to ask. And my view is, and always has been, that when you are in public life or even in private life and you make a mistake, you own it. And you talk about it right away. You let people know what you're going to do to deal with the impact of that mistake. And my concern was, what impact was that going to have on people's views of the Department of Justice and the work that we were doing?
So in retrospect, I'm sorry, Mr. President, it'd be inappropriate for us to talk? You wish you'd said that?
Well, I do regret sitting down and having a conversation with him, because it did give people concern. And as I said, my greatest concern has always been making sure that people understand that the Department of Justice works in a way that's independent and looks at everybody equally. And when you do something that gives people a reason to think differently, that's a problem. It was a problem for me. It was painful.
Thank you very much. Great.
Yes, sir. Very nice to meet you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good man.
Yes, he is.
He broke a big story.
Yes,
right?
he did.
Yes, sir. The tarmac.
He broke a biggie.
The secret meeting on the tarmac. Yes, sir.
You take care. We'll do another one. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time very much.
Nice to meet you.
I brought you a hat. An Alabama hat, ma'am. Yes.
We will take this.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Chris, you have a picture? Yeah, come here. Take a picture. White House photographer.
I would love one, Mr. President. Thank you so very much.
A great, very expensive White House photographer.
Yes, sir. Christopher Sign. Christopher Sign. I'm Christopher Sign. Have a safe weekend.